Good morning, good morning. All right. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Welcome to Not My Office. Today is Wednesday, October the 6th. We got a bunch of stuff to talk about. So, good morning and welcome to the party. And go ahead if you got questions. Questions can go over here in the comments. We'll give everybody a couple seconds to hop in, and then we've got a lot on the Google form for sure. So, good morning, and per usual, thanks for joining us. I have learned this morning that I don't have a lot of light in our office at the house, so sorry if it's a little bit dim, but hopefully we won't have the streaming issues we've had the last few weeks, because we're going to have all kinds of Wi-Fi at the house. Alrighty, so first things first, the ACT. Alright, I'm hoping I don't mess things up. I'm using a weird external keyboard that I don't normally use. So we're going to hope that I don't accidentally hit a button. The first thing is, the pre-ACT is scheduled for November the 9th. Pre-ACT is for 10th graders. I'm going to go back and read. Here we go. So the main date for all 10th graders is on November the 9th. Then there will be a makeup and virtual academy students will test on December the 3rd. So those are the two dates for 10th graders to have in mind. So again, on-campus students' first testing date is November the 9th. Most 10th graders will take it on November the 9th. There will be a December 3rd test date that is a makeup, and when virtual academy students will test as well. So there are those dates, and now we're going to hop into the Google form. Here we go. So I love this question, and the question is, my student tells me that the lower cafeteria is full of dead bugs and is asking when it will be cleaned. Well, it's just really the Halloween aesthetic. That's not true. We don't spend a lot of time in the lower cafeteria. We have had to put ISS down there a lot recently because we've had many students getting their 5th and 6th and 7th tardies. So we'll take care of that today. Really, we just need somebody to let us know, which you did, so thank you so much. Granted, it was a week ago, because I didn't read this until just now. But I will send some emails as soon as we're done and work on getting that cleaned up. But in general, if you're ever like, hey, this looks messy, email your administrator. We can work on that. Do we have free Wi-Fi available for students? So we do have hotspots available for students who qualify. We have to assess need, and I don't really know how that works. But if you're interested in getting a hotspot, please feel free to email Miss Cassiano, J. Cassiano. I'll put it in the chat here. WZBSS. I will say the district's expectations for receiving a hotspot are pretty stringent now in terms of like family not having any access to Wi-Fi. So certainly, if that's your situation, please reach out. We can make sure we can connect them. But there is a more stringent process than we used to have. My 10th grader never got a student ID card. We asked because, the state fair gives a discount to students when they present an ID. Sure do. Let's see if we can find that out. I can't just pick up the phone, so we've got to do some texting, and that can take longer. Who to ask? Nope, that's not right. There we go. Nope, that's not ready. There we go. All right. We'll find out. Let's see here. Do we need to register our student for the November 9th pre-ACT? No. Every 10th grader will automatically be registered to take the pre-ACT. Do we have to purchase football tickets in advance or just show up the night of the game? It is 250% easier if you purchase them ahead of time on the GoFan website. And if Ms. Miller's in the chat, maybe she can help provide some clarity here because I don't totally know all the details. I know that we do have a poster up at the stadium that is a QR code you can scan. It'll take you to the website. So you could buy tickets in real time there. I can tell you this, we are not handling cash at all. So you do have to have a way to purchase it online. Heard. Okay, man, this is awesome. So, we only have about 50% of the student IDs in, so we're holding those until we get them all, and we're going to try and get them out as soon as we can. We just only have about half of them. I just made a doctor's appointment for Blake to go to the doctor this morning. He drives, but just call or email Miss Cooper. You know the front desk number, 919-850-8787. Or you can email Miss Cooper, gcooper1, and just let her know that Blake has an appointment and he needs to leave at this time. And she will actually call into the class to have him come to the main office and check out. Shouldn't be a problem. Funny, actually, Ms. Petzold, so yes, all is well at the Patton household. We have on this show for the last several weeks spoken about if your kid has one of these symptoms, we're going to send them home, and then you have to get a negative test before you can come back, unless they're vaccinated, in which case they come back when they feel better. When you have a 5-year-old that gets sent home with symptoms, and you don't have test results back, and they're not eligible to be vaccinated, you get to stay at home with your kid, which secretly is going to be kind of awesome because I love her a lot. But I am, in fact, at home because of the Wake County COVID protocol. So, and it's not just me. We've got several teachers who have had to stay home with kids. Like, it's everybody, and that's part of why this year is such a heavy lift. Oh no, 8:30. Uh-oh. We're going to have to stay here forever. I changed it 1 week, and then I wasn't here, so I didn't think to change it again. So let me go change that right now. Thanks for the heads up. Can't keep it all straight. Edit. Don't forget to join us live at 8 o'clock. That's what happens when you automate too many things, and then you have to make a change. That should be better now. Okay, I imagine people will join us late. Thanks, Ms. Irwin, for the save on that. Is there a schedule for what the colors are for football games? Let's find out. All right, we'll find out. Question regarding the ALC tardy rules. On the fourth tardy, the student goes to ISS. We used to have ALC and ALC Plus, and we've gone back to the nomenclature to match the rest of the district. So at this point, it's just ISS and school suspension. So anyway, I'm going to read it as is. Question on the fourth tardy, students go to ALC for first block. First, how does the student get classwork, lecture, homework for the first block that they are missing? And does being in ISS put them behind in that class? Second, does the tardy count reset each quarter? So we send out an email every morning of who is where, and we haven't had any connectivity issues in the lower cafeteria. So if your student is in ISS and the teacher hasn't seen the list, they are certainly welcome to email their teacher. Obviously, kids are allowed to be on their devices to access all that material. And no, if they're in ISS and they need to turn something in, or it's really important, teachers often will email Mr. Bell and say, hey, I need the student to come take a test, or hey, I need the student to come do part of a group project. So we're really sensitive to not making sure that it is an academic impact. And then, yes, the tardy count does reset each quarter, and we have a lot of students who are really ready for November 1st. One of my teachers had no available time slots when I tried to sign up for a conference. Any chance more times will be added for those that were full, or do we have to wait for second semester? This is interesting because we have all year. Oh, thanks, Miss Mulrooney. The Maniacs Instagram page. Yeah, so Miss Haddock just told me that the Maniacs control what colors are what for different football nights. Now, I will say they're... hold on. Sorry. There are often signs up around the building the week of, so feel free to look around, but also Maniac's Instagram page. I don't know what that account is, so if somebody has that and wants to drop the actual handle in there, that would be helpful. So back to parents-teacher conferences. No, parent-teacher conferences often do fill up for many teachers, and we don't offer more that evening, but I would just email the teacher directly and say, hey, can we schedule, all your times were full, do you have availability in the next week or so? And we can pretty easily, most teachers pretty easily can accommodate that. Oh, cool. So just to clarify, Ms. Mobley, Ms. Patterson dropped in some specific information for you. I gave you the school phone number, but also, so 919-850-8787, and then make sure you dial extension 21471. My bad. And then Ms. Patterson can hook you up with more information. Are the conferences online or in person? The conferences are online. Namely because it was so much easier to transition, we were able to accommodate 5 to 10 more conferences in that window than we had in the past. Maybe not 5 to 10, maybe 3 to 5, but it was definitely an improvement, and it was accessible to many, many more parents, so we opted to stick with it. Hey, Ms. Sparks, good morning. What is the status of driver's ed classes and driving portions? Driver's ed classes are virtual, I understand. I don't know anything about the driving portion. Will we be able to sign our freshman up for driver's ed soon? Yes, probably, or are we so backlogged that I should consider private lessons since I want him to get his permit in March? So if anybody here in the chat has any commentary on, oh yeah, we just did this process or this or that, I can tell you that signing up is through Jordan Driving School. Give me a second and I will get the link in there. Jordan Driving School. In fact, I'll go all the way and dive into the actual Millbrook page because it is a little tricky to find. Here we go. Alrighty, so driver's ed sign up goes here. I can't really speak to the driving portion. You'd want to reach out to potentially Miss Elstrom at millbrookdrivered@gmail.com. It's not driver's ed, it's Millbrook Driver Ed. What is Mr. Ship's email address? I have a specific question about parking. Oh, thanks, Ms. Klimmer. If you want them to get their permit in March, I recommend private driving instruction. Unfortunately, yeah, I don't have any context to understand any of that. Counting down some, I got like 9 years left. Mr. Ship's email is going to be in the chat right now. Mr. Ship is sship at wcpss.net. That's not right. Hold on. This is much more difficult than people just stopping by to say, hey. Sorry, trying to... Apparently there's some information that I need, but I have to get it from somebody, so I got to go back and forth. Alrighty. I'm going to read some of the... Sorry, Miss Robinson. Yeah, the 8:30 start time was last week. I can't remember what was going on last week that had to push us back, and then this morning was regular, but I forgot to change the thing because I've automated it. Learning the perils of automation. Sorry about that. Text your friends. We're here now. I'll try and hang out a little bit after 8:30 in case people have questions. People are recommending... I can't be a part of recommendations. Okay, so Ms. Sparks shared that her son took the virtual class in April, but they're still waiting for the behind the wheel portion. So that is a notable backup. There are 2 sessions posted in Jordan Driving School. Submit registration to Ms. Elstrom. Last year, signed up and drive for driver's ed in August, got a spot in November, got her permit in June, and then we did driver's ed through the school for older daughter, but it's so backed up, they did a private for current freshman. Do you have Coach Brown's email? Do I have Coach Brown's email? Do you know Coach Brown's first name? Because I'm pretty sure she works in the county and can look it up. Hold on, let me clarify something with Miss King real quick. Alrighty. Alrighty. Coach Brown's the men's lacrosse coach. Oh, more Coach Browns. Oh, yeah. I got you. My bad. W.R. Brown. William Brown. My bad. I understand now. And Gabby Brown is who I was thinking of. Okay, so let me look up that one because I don't have that one off the top of my head. I don't have that. If you need Coach Brown's email, I would reach out to Coach East. He will have all the coaches' contact information for sure. How many class periods will students taking the PSAT miss? Will those be excused absences? Okay, hold on. Let me read this whole thing. So, how many class periods will students taking the PSAT... Hold on. We're going to talk to Miss King. Hey, Miss King. Good morning. Well, you sent me a text to text Miss Courtwright. Oh, yeah, right on. Okay, yeah, Dale told me. Do you have anything for Facebook Live? Right. Got it. No, not right now. I don't think so. Thank you. You got it. Thank you so much. Bye. Alrighty, back at it. Class periods that students taking the PSAT will miss. First and second, and maybe some of third. They will be excused. Students do get a list of students because, so we'll send a pre-list, here are all the students taking the exam, and then Ms. Sanchez will send a follow-up, here are all the students who did take it, in case somebody was signed up but was sick. We'll be able to account for all that. So we do some reconciliation after, but yes, our list will go out ahead of time to teachers. Don't sweat that. Where do students taking the PSAT go? Is the PSAT today? Certainly not. Hold on. Where are we doing the PSAT? Next Wednesday. So we got a week. I'm not sure yet, but Miss Sanchez will get us that information, and we'll make sure we put it on the website. Thanks, Miss Miller. I thought that was it, but I wasn't sure. Okay. Why aren't students allowed? Okay. Why aren't students allowed to back into a space? I'll have to get clarification from Mr. Ship. Let me see if he is available. Sorry, all the things are flying in and out of my brain. Why aren't students allowed to back into a space? Part of it is we can see the hang tag across the spaces. But honestly, we have way more kids hit other cars while they're backing up because not everybody is really great at backing into a spot. And it's less likely that somebody will back into a vehicle when they're backing out of their spot. It still happens from time to time, but a large part of backing into a space has to do with how long it takes, the amount of traffic in the parking lot in the morning, and just kids being good at it. Or in some cases not. But for students who park against the bushes or an outside space, so in general, I think it's a safety focused thing. I tried to follow the link on the parking regs for an explanation of the above, and it takes me, the link is broken. And that link, okay, let me just read this as is. I tried following the link in the parking regs for an explanation of the above, and the link takes me to a broken link, which is also followed by another broken link. I dug into the WCPSS site, and the regulations only say no backwards parking. If it's a safety issue, I'd like to know what it is. If it's a risk management issue, please also explain. Yeah, I mean, I think what it is the overwhelming majority of issues that we have in the parking lot when kids hit another car is because somebody's backing up. And when you're backing into a spot, yeah, sure, sometimes there are no cars there. But other times, if there's a car on each side, things are going to get dinged up a little more likely. In any case, I'm not really dug in on all that stuff, so we can certainly ask Mr. Ship. He's probably in a classroom right now because our observation schedule is just super tight in this environment. So we're all trying to be in classrooms as much as possible. So I'm sorry I don't have a great answer on that right now, but I can tell you anecdotally, as the guy who's in the junior lot most afternoons, kids aren't great at backing up, but also it's hard backing up when there's a million kids in the parking lot. What is the fine and how do you pay it? I'm not sure what the fine is. You would just pay the fine through OSP on the website. The violation ticket doesn't give an amount, a place to pay, or any instructions. Yeah, I would go ahead and email Mr. Ship, sshipp@wcpss.net, and feel free to ask him those questions directly. I will forward these to him and see if I can get some answers to share on the show next week. Those are good questions. Also hard. Where can we find Coach Brown's email address and information about indoor track? I think we got it. Do not send emails for checkout. My fault. Sorry, Miss Patterson. Do not send emails for checkout. I understand why. You need to call. Emails are much harder to verify. Are GPAs calculated using number grades or letter grades? All of my child's grades on PowerSchool are in numbers, but the WCPSS grading site uses the 10-point letter scale. Yeah, so here we go. This is real fun. GPAs are calculated based on your letter grade. So feasibly, a student who gets a 91 in the class, let's say, and this is just regular academic level class, right, on a 4-point scale, in A, any grade from a 90 to a 100 is awarded 4 quality points. A B in that same class, which is an 80 to an 89, is 3. And then a C is a 70 to a 79, and a D is a 60 to a 69. And that's a D is worth 1, a C is worth 2, B is 3, and an A is 4. In honors classes, you get an extra half point, so an A is worth 4.5, and a B in an honors class is worth 3.5. And then in AP and IB levels, an A is worth 5 quality points, a B is worth 4, a C is worth 3, and a D is worth 2. So at the end of the year, what you do is you take all of your grades, they get converted to a letter grade within that cutoff range, and then that is what the quality point is awarded. So if you're looking at 94, 93, 94, 88, that's an B, and in a regular class it'd be 4, 4, 4, 3. You would add those together, 12, 13, 14, 15 divided by 4 would give you your GPA. It should be much more straightforward now. Last year and the year before, anybody who was in high school for last year, for the year before last, the 2019, 2020 half credit situation, when like you got a half credit for the first semester and a half credit for quarter 3 while we were all at home. Calculating that is legitimately kind of tricky. I have a spreadsheet that I have had to make myself so I can help my families who are working on that. But GPA is calculated on letter grade. Letter is converted from a cutoff range. Alrighty, so that's it from the Google form. So let me go catch up in the chat here. Again, I need to repeat, if you need to check your student out, you need to call 919-850-8787, extension 21471, and we can take care of it for you. Please do not email that your student needs to check out. Is there a study guide we can pick up for the PSAT? If so, where should they get it? I'm not sure, Miss Brantley. That's a great question. Sorry, sometimes when you're at home, your dogs do crazy things. I would go ahead and email your counselor. We probably do have some online resources here and there that are available. I don't know what they are, but I'm sure that any context can help. Also, shout out to Khan Academy. They've really done a lot of work in test prep land. I mean, they have everything from ACT to SAT to the GMAT and the LSAT and the DAT. Khan Academy has a very rich library of test prep stuff. Yes, again, I have to correct this a million times. I feel so bad. Do not send emails for checkout. Please call. There is a PSAT guide in Student Services. I'm not surprised at that at all. I am a little disappointed that I didn't just know that. Thanks for the link, Miss Miller. And also, just a shout out. We've done, we built a thing. We had a lot of feedback on it. It's really frustrating to find certain forms. So we have, if you go to the website under Parents, the second link under Parents now is Forms. We're going to have a main Forms dashboard, and then just on the left, you'll see a list of all the things, and I will do my best to embed all of those so it's easy and right there at your fingertips. Shout out to Miss Edmondson and PTSA. Again, sometimes people who are new to joining us on Wednesdays, ask what's the best thing that we can do to help our students or to help the school or pitch in. And legitimately, the best thing you can do is join PSAT. And this is why life is hard. PSAT is coming up. The best thing you can do to support your student and the school is to join the PTSA and help out with them. They do a lot for all the teachers, including grants, not just luncheons. I mean, every year for the first 6 weeks of the year, it's a conversation about, hey, do you think if I apply for a PTSA grant, they can fund this for my class or fund that for my class? So we're really fortunate to have that as a resource at Millbrook. And then, yeah, so Ms. Drabot right there in Student Services apparently has the test prep info, so you can feel free to swing by and get that. Okay, we're going to hang out for a few minutes because some people got the 8:30 message. I'm going to go ahead and do a last call for questions, although I will keep the last call open a little bit longer. I'm going to go back through the chat one more time. All right, can you explain about absences and how they count against senior exam exemptions? Is it still considered an absence if you are only absent for part of the day due to a doctor's appointment? My student has to start physical therapy for a couple of weeks and will be absent in the morning. So as long as you bring documentation, that should be an excused absence. And I don't think excused absences apply. Let's find out. We are going to try to leverage some technology here in a unique way. Alrighty, who records tardies in PowerSchool? My kids have each gotten a couple, but I only see one recorded. That is also an interesting question. Teachers are ultimately the source of inputting that, and so I just texted that to Miss Midget, so I'll see if she can help. She also is probably in a classroom because we're all scheduled to the max trying to get our stuff done. So yeah, in general, it should be up to the teachers to put that in, right? So if a student's late, they go to the Cats on Time station, they get a pass, and then that pass gets to class, and they give that to the teacher. And so the teacher can go in and put the late notice into PowerSchool. We can revisit that as a communication tool. We've been really trying to do a lot, obviously, to communicate with people and make sure you guys have what you need. And obviously, the more information we can give you to help your students understand what's going on, then the better. So we can certainly look into that. I'm going to go back to the senior exam exemption. So in general, if they're only absent, so the exam exemption is by class, right? So let's say you have 3 orthodontist appointments and they all happen to be at 8, and so you miss first period 3 times. That teacher, the exam for that class, that teacher will say, oh, you're not exempt because you have so many. And again, like an orthodontist appointment may be exempt. Exemptions are on page 13. Do I have that digitally? Then we can just visit it together. Oh boy, that was loud. It's going to be, where is Office 365? There we go. I need to be better at Office 365 because I'm not very good at it. Alrighty, here we go. If it loads. Now my internet is starting to not like me. Ms. Patterson, thanks for the save. Scrolling. Let me just Control F. Senior exam exemptions. There are no absence criteria for exemption, only grades. Oh. We'll clarify next week. So I will say, what it says in here, absences due to religious holidays, school-sponsored activities, and legislative page service are not included in absence totals. All other excused absences, including trips, college days, and medical appointments, count in the absence total. No senior can be exempt from an end-of-course test or CTE post-assessment. Teachers are responsible for determining eligible seniors in each class. Ms. Midget's response is there are no absence criteria for exemption, only grades. So we will get that clarified. We have had some stuff. There is a more recent handbook available. I'll have to do some work to get the right digital copy. I know we've sent it to the printer and we've given it to kids, but I just need to make sure that I have the right version to put on the website, and we will get that on there today. But again, per Ms. Midget just a minute ago, there are no absence criteria for exemptions, only grades. We will clarify that for next week, but that's a great question. Okay, awesome. We'll get the new handbook put on there. It's 8:37. I have not seen a huge influx of new folks. So if you did join us right at 8:30 and you have a question, please go ahead and ask it so we can get to you. But we did start at 8. I'm sorry I didn't communicate that well on the website. But go ahead and ask your question, and we'll stay here until you get your questions answered. If a student is taking the PSAT at school next week, do they automatically get an excused absence from a missed class? Yes, and it's actually not even an excused absence. Like, those students are counted as present. And teachers know that they're not. The only thing that happens is if a student is registered to take the test and they don't come, then when we email the teachers the follow-up list, I did see a huge flux of people join us at 8:30. So here we are. Welcome. If you're just now joining us, my fault for putting the wrong time on the website. We are here, rolling. We have spent some time going through this already. So if you're joining us and you have a question, please go ahead and ask it. Because we are going to be done here in about 5 to 7 minutes. So again, if a student's taking a PSAT, they're actually at school and they're counted present. They're not absent. So you shouldn't see an absence marked in that class at all. If you do, please contact the teacher or your administrator and get that changed. It's not a problem. Will they be recalculating class ranking for seniors after the first quarter? Nope. So we calculate GPAs in class ranking at the end of every year. And then for seniors, some seniors take blocked classes, right? Like if you're a senior and you're taking AP Calculus A, B, B, C, that's actually 2 separate courses. So you do get a fall final grade that gets recalculated into your GPA. And then for all seniors, in quarter 3, we do a projected GPA for class rank. Yes, I think that's how that works. For the PSAT, teachers are prepared to help kids relating to missing classwork as they won't be in class for the test. Yes, that's correct. Teachers will be aware that they're taking a test, and they should have time to make up whatever they miss. That shouldn't be an issue. Good question. Alrighty. So let's recap. For everyone who joined us late, I don't want to feel badly about getting that wrong. So real quick, we're going to see how fast I can do these 15 questions. Student said the lower cafeteria is full of dead bugs. When it will be cleaned up? We'll get on that today. Do you have free Wi-Fi available for students? If you don't have any access to the internet, please email Jahida Cassiano. Her email's way back in the early comments. Jay Cassiano at WCPSS.net, and she can work with you to see if you're eligible for a hotspot. 10th grader never got an ID card. We'd like to have that for student discount at the fair. We only have received about half of the ID cards. We are hoping to receive the rest soon and hand them out all at once. Do we have to purchase football tickets in advance? You can show up the night of the game, but we do not take cash. So you have to purchase your ticket online, whether you do it at home or at the stadium. I can tell you that with as many people as are in the stadium, sometimes your cellular network can get really bogged down, and that can become a tedious process. What is there a schedule for what colors are for the football games? Blackout, whiteout, pinkout, etc. Yes, that's available on the Maniacs Instagram page. I'm sorry, I don't have what their actual page name is or username is. ALC rules. How does a student get classwork? Teachers have a list. They have a calendar of who's in ISS every day, and then students should feel free to email them once they get logged into Canvas. If you're in school suspension for tardies, you should definitely hop into Canvas and communicate with your teacher. And then the tardies do reset at the quarter. So on November 1st, everybody's tardies go back to 0. One of my child's teachers had no available time slots to sign up for a conference. So if your conference slots are full, please go ahead and email that teacher and see if they can schedule one separately. It also might be worth waiting until after conferences to say, hey, yours were all full. Now do you have time? For driver's ed, for all things driver's ed, you're going to want to email millbrookdrivered@gmail.com or go to the Jordan Driving School website. Many parents have shared their experience in the chat. Mr. Ship's email is sship@wcpss.net. There was a question on here about why aren't we allowed to back into the parking space, which is a very, very good question. I don't have a good answer for that. Or is it actually easier to see the hang tag if the parking pass hangs from the rearview mirror? In any case, I'm going to get some information from Mr. Ship. If you do have a ticket and a fine, you would pay that via OSP on the website. Coach Brown's email is in the track if you're looking for indoor, or is in the comments if you're looking for indoor track information. And the GPA calculation is so our GPA is calculated using number or letter grades. They're calculated using your letter grade within that range. So 90 to 100 is an A, 80 to 89 is a B, 70 to 79 is a C, 60 to 69 is a D. All right, that was all the form questions very quickly. General question about ISS for tardies. Isn't it counterproductive for a student to miss an hour of instruction and then have to make it up? Also, I understand ISS is in the lunchroom, which has poor Wi-Fi. So we can certainly work on the Wi-Fi issues. I was down there the other day and didn't notice any. The speed test actually worked better because we're also having Wi-Fi issues in classrooms. It's not just the lower cafeteria. I've been texting Austin James all morning. So if your kids are in Coach James' class, the Wi-Fi in his room is real bad right now. We are sending in work orders every day when classrooms are having issues, and tech services and the networking team are doing a lot to get out here to evaluate the access points. They're resetting access points every night. They've opened up more IP addresses for every access point. They're working really hard with us, but chasing Wi-Fi issues, as many of you know from your house, is kind of like chasing a ghost. So back to the real heart of the ISS question, and at some point it's just expectation. Yes, it does seem counterproductive, but at what point is there accountability for a thing, right? Like the bell for classes start is at 7:20. At 7:20, kids should go to class. We have many students who know that the tardy bell rings at 7:20. The warning bell rings at 7:24, and the tardy bell rings at 7:25. So they're like, oh, I have to be in class by 7:25, which is true, but really the goal is to be in class at 7:20. And then there's a 5-minute grace period to get to class. So I think the sort of perspective would be, I don't have great answers for this. And, tardies have been a problem for generations. I mean, Lord knows, just think about the opening scene to not the opening scene. Maybe it's the 4th scene of Back to the Future, right? Like, he blows up the giant amplifier in Doc Brown's shed. He holds onto a truck and skateboards to school, and then he has to sneak through the hallways to avoid the principal. Kids don't have to sneak through the hallways to avoid us. Plus, I have cameras everywhere, so I'm going to find them. But I know it seems counterintuitive to miss instruction But that's like the easiest. We can still keep them there. We have access, and again, teachers have the ability to say, "Hey, I've got a test. I need them today. Can they do ISS at a different time?" And we work with a lot of students on a variety of options. Like if they like, I know that I have students who are struggling in math who might miss that class for ISS, and I will specifically go to Mr. Bell and reschedule that student so that they can be in math class. So we're trying to be sensitive to that. But at the end of the day, it is an accountability measure. My student spends ALC watching TikTok. Does anyone know what the kids are doing? Yes, for the most part. Admin is in and out of there all the time. Mr. Bell is in there, but usually it's him and 40 or 50 students. I don't know, maybe that's too high. It's been in there because the normal location that we have ISS can only really safely sit about 20 students. So we've had more than that, and we've moved to the lower cafeteria. And at some point, that is kind of like the whole thing about discipline, right? Like, is to have self-discipline. So on one perspective, it's like, yes, they're in here, they're not allowed to be in class. The other perspective is this: we believe in helping train students to make effective decisions. And students who are late have not been able to change their behavior to make more effective decisions. And so we want to put them in an environment to have to make fewer decisions. Here, this is where you're going to be. And part of that self-discipline is being like, all right, I'm not in class, I'm here, so I need to sit here and do work. And if they're choosing not to do that work, then that is a natural consequence of not accessing their teacher, because teachers will email back during class for the most part. Teachers are posting stuff in Canvas. I think that's the best I've got right now. I know that it does seem counterproductive, but I can also tell you anecdotally that the kids who love math the most are kids who are struggling in math but have to go to ISS during math class. All of a sudden they really care about math. But we also need to care about math enough to be there on time. We don't. So I guess Ms. Whitehouse, the short answer to your question is no, we don't necessarily have somebody policing exactly what their activity is. It used to be a little bit different because not everybody had a device and not everybody was expected to do instruction via an LMS. But now that we have that, kids can access that differently. Yeah, and so in cases where we know that there are extenuating circumstances regarding traffic, we certainly do make announcements and send emails to faculty, hey, we're not counting tardies to first period today because of this or that. We have a variety of staff that drive in from all different directions, and so if something's happened on 540 or on Falls or on Capitol or anywhere, we certainly do take that into account. In general, though, we have seen the tardies coming down and believe that students should be able to make it on time at this point. And again, like I can just tell you from my perspective here, like if I leave my house at 6:25, I will very easily get to school by 6:42, 6:43. If I leave my house at 6:28, I'm probably going to get behind the bus that goes through the neighborhood right here, right by my house. If I get behind that bus, that's a 12 to 15 minute shift. And so I often encourage students, this is not about a 20-minute change in your morning routine. It's a 5-minute change. Because again, the kids who are the most frustrated are the ones who are getting there at 7:26, not the ones who are getting there at 7:50. And if they're 30 minutes to get through the line at the window to check in, that is hard. And if that's the case, again, like in really, really extreme situations like that, email your administrator and counselor and say, hey, this happened this morning. Is there anything we can do about it? Like, we love having conversation. And again, it's not about punishing kids. It's about accountability. And sometimes accountability is just about having a conversation. On the day of the PSAT for sophomores, what is the schedule? Do they have time? Do they have classes after their test? Yes. So sophomores will anybody taking the PSAT, and I want to clarify the PSAT is not the same as the pre-ACT. So we talked earlier about the pre-ACT that's coming up soon for all 10th graders. The PSAT students needed to register for. So any student taking the PSAT, because there are a variety of grades, they will go take the PSAT, they'll miss first and second period, they'll miss some of third period, then they'll be released from the test to get lunch, and then they will go to third period late. For some of the big tests, like the pre-ACT, we actually adjust the bell schedule to accommodate, but the PSAT likely won't be an overwhelming number of students, so it'll probably be during late to third period. Man, y'all, it's pretty early for saxophone, I'll be honest. This guy is not quiet. It's not quiet. And the dogs absolutely hate it. Unfortunately, it has lived up there far longer than I wish it had. But sometime, maybe we can get the faculty band back together. That was a good time. All right, so thank you so much, including everyone asking the super hard questions. I hope you have a great day, and if you need anything, please email your counselor or administrator. We will see you next week. I will work on getting some parking answers from Mr. Ship, and I'll work on getting better, richer perspective on tardies from the rest of my team. I've been doing this a while, but I got a couple people on the team who've been doing this for a long while. So should be good. Have a safe day out there, and yeah, practicing with dogs in the house is difficult. The good news is I don't really have to practice these days. I know that your youngin's not in the same situation. We will see you guys soon. Be safe out there. Holler if you need us.